Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We got homework here for Wednesday. So this is something I taught to you guys, or I've showed you guys briefly for a while ago. If you find it helpful, that's great. This is SO, and it stands for sine. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. C is for cosine, and that's adjacent over hypotenuse. And T is for tangent, that's opposite over adjacent. Okay, if this is a helpful little tool for you, use it. So, we're doing our last little ratio here. It's cosine. So cosine of x is adjacent over hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is very easy. It's 17. So when I look here for x, the side that's adjacent is 8. Adjacent, remember, means next to, so 8. Cosine of y is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse, so it's 15 over 17. Alright, we've done this a couple times now. Given the information, sketch a triangle and mark it up. Cosine of 70 degrees equals 17 over 50, so this is 17 degrees. The hypotenuse has to be 50, because that's the bottom. And the adjacent has to be 17. Oh, whoops. That's 70 degrees. There we go, 70. 70 degrees. Alright, and so the adjacent has to be 17. The hypotenuse has to be 50. Alright, cosine of 22 is 0.93. We need to make this into a fraction. This is 93 hundredths. So 93 over 100. So this is 22 degrees. The adjacent has to be 93. The hypotenuse is going to be 100. And then we have cosine of 64 is 11 over 25. So 11 is adjacent. 25 is the hypotenuse. So if this is 64, the hypotenuse is 25, the adjacent is 11. Alright. Part B is the fun stuff. Cosine of B is 0.9. What is the length of BC? So I'm going to put an X. Now we're saying that we're going to use B because cosine of B is 0.9. So cosine of B equals the adjacent over the hypotenuse, so that's X over 10. The next step, of course, is to multiply by the denominator, which is 10 to both sides. So 10 cosine B equals X. And then cosine B is 0.9, so that's 10 times 0.9, or just 9. So X equals 9. Number 2, cosine of A is 0.3, so looking for that. And we want to know the length of AB, so that's my X. Well, X is the hypotenuse, so when I do cosine A, 9 is the adjacent, so it's going to be 9 over X. It's the same step. We got to multiply by the denominator, by the number that's in the bottom. So we're going to multiply both sides by X and get X cosine A equals 9. And then remember that this is one number. So we divide by cosine A and we get X equals 9 over cosine A, which equals 9 over 0.3. And that is going to equal 30. Alright, going down to this one. Cosine of 24 degrees equals the adjacent. over the hypotenuse, so that's x over 26. Multiply both sides by 26, and we get 26 cosine 24. And cosine 24 equals 0.42. Multiply that up, you get 0.42 times 26. You get 1092, 2 decimal points, so 1, 2, 10.92 equals x. This one, cosine of 16 degrees. And then that's the adjacent over the hypotenuse, that's x over 20. Multiply by the denominator, 20 cosine 16 equals x. 20 times 0.96 equals x. And that's going to be 19.2. All right. I will go ahead and see you guys tomorrow. Bring any questions. We'll be working more on this.